This is a layman's review, meaning it's aimed at the average person, in particular, someone who hasn't or has very little experience with VR. I will only be focusing on, does it adequately do its job as an entry-level VR headset? Nothing more, nothing less. Look, during the middle of the Kung Flu epidemic, it arrived in the land of Oz after 10 days. I know it could take longer, my friend had to wait 3 weeks for theirs to arrive. But you can track its progress. If you don't fuck up your order with the email, they'll send you a link to do so. And it's pretty fast for what time is, and even if it wasn't during the Kung Flu, 10 days isn't exactly a ridiculously long time for it to get shipped from Hong Kong. The Rift S was snug as a bug on a rug. It seriously was no wiggle room in the box it was already in, and in the box that they packed it in for shipping. I didn't get any damage, and the texture box on the headset is just very, very nice to hold, if I'm honest. But you don't worry about any sort of damage unless someone is trying to smash the damn thing. Inside the box is your VR headset, 2 controllers, a fucking long boy cord, a DisplayPort to mini DisplayPort adapter, some batteries, and an Ant Print thick boy manual. That's it. Put in your batteries, then it's plug and play. Well, at least after you install the app and any updates, but you can do that prematurely. Preemptively. Oh, that sounds like a dick joke. The only other headset I've used is the HTC Vive, and that was at a barcade. It really did feel like my eyes were pressed against the screen door when I used that headset. The experience was still enjoyable, but that effect was ever present. The Rift S is a lot better. It's much closer to pressing your nose towards a PC monitor than is a screen door, and well, that's exactly what you're doing. Unless you're standing dead still watching a cutscene or someone's giving a speech, it's very easy to ignore the effect, because it gets blurred out by the movement in your environment. If your PC can run VR consistently at 90 frames per second, for most games, you won't have any issues. Really intense games like Beat Saber might be different, but unless you've played something like the Valve Index, you won't realise what's going on. Tracking can be a little skewy when you reach towards the upper left and upper right, or if your batteries are low. Depending on the game, its impact can be almost never or a lot. Actually looking at your hands as you reach for objects does solve the issue, but something like Beat Saber, it's a lot harder to adjust for. It took a few play sessions to get the headset to sit comfortably and be adjusted correctly to my head. The goggles can be adjusted independently from the Halo, while the Halo and its strap can be adjusted to give you a lot more room to adjust and fit it to your head. It's safe as houses, but I do wish the Halo sat lower on the back of my head to feel comfortable. At first I could only play for a couple of hours at a time, but now that the cushioning has softened and everything is adjusted correctly, it's easy to play 6 hours. The cushioning is comfortable, but it will absorb a lot of sweat, which you'll notice once you take it off. There are silicone covers you can buy to help with this, but I haven't tested them, so their effectiveness is unconfirmed. While I think of it, you will need to get some rechargeable batteries. Your average AA batteries get its charge chewed through very, very quickly. They'll last a couple of hours at most, whereas a rechargeable battery normally lasts between 6 to 10 hours. The headphones are good enough. They're clear and have directional sound. I didn't notice any issues until I plugged in my proper headphones. While playing Beat Saber, where the increased quality got me more involved in the songs. For general use, the speakers are fine. They're just as good as your average TV. My volume is usually set between 20 and 35%, depending on background noise. Unless you're trying to destroy your eardrums, the sound won't echo through your mic either.
So, I would like to clarify, at the Venus event, I heard a call for LMT, and as I am a medically trained field medic, I came to assist. And then found this man had shoved a magazine down someone's stomach. And his solution for this issue was to heat them up enough that the bullets would explode in the stomach.
As you can hear there, the mic is adequate. No one's going to tell you to try and kill yourself for using it, but you definitely wouldn't want to use it for scripted videos or streaming. On the topic of microphones, time to hit on the issues. The microphone is well known for getting a robot voice. In fact, I can identify fellow Rift users by this glitch. The majority of the time it's temporary for 30 seconds to a few minutes. In rare cases it will require a restart to fix it. The biggest issue for me when it comes to the Rift S is the floor height being a foot high. Basically, your real floor will be a foot higher than the in-game floor, which is a pain in the ass of games like Pavlov, and with the exception of Boneworks, the only way to fix it is with a janky fix, like standing on top of a box when you do your floor height, or some third-party software. There may be a Steam adjustment, but I haven't found it yet. Sometimes the headset won't register, which requires you to unplug and replug it into your GPU and motherboard, but this so far has only happened on startup. I haven't had it randomly disconnect to me while I'm playing yet, but I've only clocked in 250 hours on the headset. As an entry-level headset, it will get the job done with a good level of quality. It still has the capacity to work with full body tracking. Its only downside is a lower frame rate and screen quality. Getting base stations can fix the issues of the headset losing track of controllers. It'll work 95% of the time without issues, and the few you stumble across are easily resolved if you know what you're doing. With the HTC Vive no longer in production or being supported, and the Cosmos being a joke at a higher price, for $400 USD or $650 Australian, the Rift S is a good choice, and realistically, the next step up is the Valve Index at a whopping $1,000. There is competition coming out, but only time will tell if they end up being better value. As for the Rift S versus Quest, I would really like to have the ability to test out the Quest, but unless Oculus sends me one to test, I can only give my opinion, which will be a video for another day. Personally, it comes down to, do you do a lot of travelling, or do you play at home? If you play at home, the Rift S is the better option. If you travel a lot, the Quest is the better option.